Yo, yo. What is going on, everybody? Hello? I'm not muted, am I? Should probably make sure. Cool. Second week in a row where I wasn't muted. Fucking A. I call that a win. Welcome, everybody, to episode 25 of Work in Progress Wednesday Live. Tonight, we are not work in progressing, but we're going to chat. Me and one of my friends who we haven't actually got to chat like this before. You keep seeing me look down. I'm still trying to figure out when I'm at the desk camera angle here, but I should be utilizing my screen on my little camera that I'm using. So I'm just trying to get used to this. So yeah, if you haven't already, obviously the usual, please like, please subscribe, please hit the bell for notifications. It really helps. Or, don't, whatever. I don't really care. Slow build here, guys. I'm working. I have a bunch of cool stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Last week was a WIP Wednesday. I worked on my new Age of Apocalypse Havoc that I've been working on. I actually haven't. That's not true. I've done a little bit more work since then, but yeah, it's slow moving. So it's because I'm still finishing up on reorganizing. I'm going to have a video that's kind of go through some of that, maybe a live stream in a couple weeks, but yeah, that's what's up. I also had a podcast with my buddy Ryan over on Moose Milk Media on Saturday. We talked all about the D23 news and all the reveals. So if you haven't checked that out, I recommend it. It was a good chat and lots to look forward to if you're a big MCU fan like we are. Star Wars, same thing. But tonight we are talking to a friend who I have been chatting with for I've lost track of the years, but it's been many. We started chatting when I received a figure from him from a Secret Santa, I think it was a Foosh Secret Santa. And yeah, and we've been chatting since then. So it's been a long time. I want to say at least 4 years. So I'll bring him on. He's a good friend and he is an awesome customizer. Say hello to my friend Rob, aka Pymparticles. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. It's been a long day. Still in my work clothes, if that tells you anything.
Oh, dude, that's brutal. That's brutal. It's nice that we're on the same time zones now. Because when we used to chat, we were 3 hours or 2 hours apart. Two.
3 hours.
3?
I don't know. I think 3.
Yeah, okay, maybe 3. But now you're right across the border from me. So, but yeah, still pretty far. But
yeah, a little closer.
Yeah, man. Before we get started, I'm just going to say hi to everyone in the chat here because there's a few of all my regulars are really here. Quebec Diorama says, hell yeah. Anonymous Dude 123 says, let's go. What up, dude? Thank you for being here. Marcus E, hello. Hey, man. Yeah, the usual gang. Anonymous Dude says, Pymparticles, welcome. So yeah, for anybody who's not following Rob, please go and check him out. Here's his Instagram handle. I have it also in the description of the video. So yeah, go and give him a follow. We're gonna go through his Instagram here, and he doesn't really post a lot, but
not more would be up already.
But the work that's there is fucking quality. So we're gonna take a look at that in a couple minutes. But to kind of kick things off, do you want to kind of just tell everybody who you are, what you do, what you collect, what we'll be talking about tonight? That'll stem from that.
Sure. I'm Robert. I've been customizing since I was like 11 years old.
Damn, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. I've already forgot your other questions. If that shows you where my mind is.
That's okay. What kind of stuff do you collect?
Mostly Marvel. I would collect more DC stuff. I was collecting more DC stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the McFarlane stuff, honestly. Yeah. Although they have announced a few things recently that like I'm going to get that Blue Beetle and Booster Gold pack. Like I got to get that. but yeah, that I mean, like I like classic DC stuff, so there's not a lot of that stuff to collect right now. Obviously, huge into Ninja Turtles, always have been, probably always will be. Yep. So NECA's been putting a hurting on my wallet.
Man, NECA is fucking killing it, eh?
It's they're so good, but they've got to stop. They have to stop.
I know. I've been after the elusive cartoon Toka and Razar for like since they originally went out, and I have a buddy in Colorado who looks for me, and he went out the one night last week, and he just sends me a picture, and he's got 2, and he's like, "You want them?" I'm like, "Fuck yes, I definitely want those." So
I've been struggling.
So is Marvel Legends and Turtles mostly?
Pretty much at this. Oh, and
any other like little
Star Wars Black Series. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right. Yes, I know that.
I'm getting a lot more choosy about what I'm getting from that line. Not as much of a completionist as I was earlier, but
yes, because you used to be like full on completionist, right?
Oh yeah. But there's some things going on there, and not every character. I know the whole Star Wars thing is like every character needs a figure. I don't need a figure of everybody.
I'm the same. But like in fairness though, when they were a little bit cheaper and like a little harder to swallow there, but price wise, man, I bought lots of characters that I was like, background, whatever, who cares?
Oh
but
yeah,
now I'm a
completionist when they're on clearance. If they're clearance.
If you don't got it and it's on clearance, you're getting it.
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah, we can definitely talk about Black Series because I know, we've had a couple conversations in the past about, especially like the Rancor and all that stuff. So yeah, we can definitely chat about that. I kind of thought maybe it would be fun to kind of start with a couple like kind of rapid fire questions just to kind of get you people familiar with like some of the things you like. So I thought it would be fun to know like who's your favorite superhero?
Oh God.
Okay, so who's like your top 3 favorite superheroes?
I mean, it's so corny. I mean, Batman is still up there. Like I haven't really been reading Batman stuff honestly since the New 52 started, but like that's been my number one since like I was a kid. Then God, I mean, the weird thing about when it comes to Marvel is I think of a lot of characters as units more than I think of them like in DC. Like I think of teams. I think of Avengers. I think of X-Men. Yeah.
I mean, you can say that. That's fair. Like, because for me, when I was growing up, like it was X-Men. Like, I didn't care. I knew who the Avengers were. I knew who consisted of the event, like the team members. But like, it was X-Men. It was always X-Men for me.
Yeah, I mean, when we were kids, no one gave a shit about the Avengers. It was X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yep. 100%.
Like, and I mean, that's probably, those are still my big ones, just because, I've been dealing with them for like 30 years now. So
yeah. I know. That's the same for me, man. Same for me. Yeah. I have an affinity for the X-Men like none other. And like, it's just like, especially when I look back on it, I look at how much that like it taught me even about life, like even just about like how to treat people and people who are different than you. And like, it's just like, man, as a young kid, like a little boy learning a lot of that stuff, like it's like, it's cool because it's like Wolverine is doing it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like all these cool characters are like part of this thing, this movement of like being better. And it's just like, it's awesome, man. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, I could go on for about that stuff forever. How important that stuff is, but yeah, I'll save you from that. But yeah, it's definitely I would say Batman, X-Men, and Spider-Man. Just the Fox kids line up when I was like 10 years old. It is what it is.
Yep. Anonymous Dude says he's right. X-Men, Spider-Man ruled the 90s. Yeah, man. Like none other. But Batman did too. I was never a Batman fan personally, but I will say that I also just don't DC. So like, you know, if I did DC, I would most likely be into Batman because like he's a lot like Spider-Man and that like I love his rogues. Like I think they're just such a really toyetic characters that like I always say it's such a shame that DC fans don't have like the DC equivalent of like a Marvel Legend, like because it's just like
1,000%.
You know what I mean? It's just like have something that's like unified. It's in, you know, mostly in scale, but it's just like, you know, I can't. I'm not a Toddy Mac fan. You know, no shade to anybody who likes it. That's cool, but I'm just like. I always look at it and I just look at all the missed opportunities. It's like, man, he's had the license for like what 3 years, 4 years, and like they don't even have a completed Justice League team in one style, not even one.
Nope, it's crazy.
It's insanity.
And I mean, I'm sure you saw me go off about his little thing about women action figures. Like, if you want to make me mad, that's the way to go.
Yep.
Because you know that's my bread and butter.
Yeah, it's really not. It's not great. It's not great. So I try my best to distance myself from Todd. I'm like, oh yeah, he's Canadian, so that's good. That's good. That's the only. It's the only. You know. That's funny. Marcus Yee says Batman the Animated Series still holds up well, and Honest Dude says we got to get Matthew watching Batman the Animated Series. It's beautiful. I did actually watch some of that growing up because, like you said, it was part of the Fox Kids lineup. So, like, sometimes I would just sit through it while I waited for the next show or whatever, right? So, I think it was like for where I was, it was like Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, I think. So, and Marcus Yee says, "Gotta blame WB with that. I heard they were the reason why McFarlane has to make 7-inch DC figures." Oh, really? Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
You know, that's weird too.
Like the Essentials line was also 7-inch, and the Icons was like 5.5. Like maybe they have some issue with 6 inches.
Maybe.
That's a statement.
Awesome. Okay, moving right along. These are really rapid fire. Favorite super villain? Villains? Are you a Joker guy? You like Joker?
Not really. Like I mean, I like the Joker. I like the idea of the Joker. The Joker to me is a little bit right now like Deadpool, where it's like, I like you, I need to see less of you. Because it's a little bit of overkill. I guess with villains, I mean it's a lot of the X-Men folks, but it's like, that's almost a cheat because so many of them, they're ambiguous in their terms of like where their alliances lie and all that kind of stuff, which I think is interesting. I like somebody that can be redeemed.
Yeah, I do too. There's good stuff in a redemption story. So yeah, for me, it's mostly X-Men as well, but it's like I love Magneto. Magneto is my jam. Yeah, I'm a big Venom fan too. So I know you're a big Venom fan too. I guess I don't know. He's kind of an anti-hero, I guess, but I still kind of classify him more as a villain because that's really when I liked him best. So
love me some Venom. Venom is still like, if you see me, like if I'm just like sitting around aimlessly. Since I was like 10 years old, I will just start drawing Venom.
Really?
I don't know what it is about the shapes of him, but it's just like my hand just starts going. Like I had one sitting on the desk at work the other day, and everybody was like, "Who the hell drew this?" I was like,
"You're like,
sorry."
So like when it comes to, I wish I could draw. Fuck, man. I used to be able to draw when I was young, but not really that well. But
as creative as you are, I think you could learn it. It's not that different than the skills you already have. It's just something to develop.
Yeah. I do like the idea of sketching. Something about sketching just makes it just like, it seems very chill and good. So I guess it would be hard to say if you're picking between Marvel and DC, what you're picking, or like I'm sure you probably lean towards, like you said, DC.
It's Marvel. Honestly, at this point, it's Marvel. Like Marvel has been what I've actually been reading for, or however long the New 52 has been going. Like I guess that's been. Oh God, that has been like 10 years now.
I don't know if I don't know if it's been 10 years, but like I know that when I started reading comics again during the Marvel Now era,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Bendis X-Men stuff,
yeah.
New 52 was relatively fresh, I think, and that was like maybe 2013 or something, maybe. Or
yeah, I was gonna say.
I guess it is 10 years.
In my head, I have it as 2012. Yeah, I know.
Fuck, man, I'm getting so old. Fuck me, man. That's ridiculous.
I know it's wild. But yeah, at this point, it's Marvel just because I'm disconnected a lot from DC. And like I gave the New 52 a shot. There was just a lot of stuff that they did with the continuity that I wasn't exactly on board with. And yeah.
I feel like that's a risk when you want to start kind of from. I know they didn't really start from scratch, but I know that one was like a pretty big shakeup. I remember everyone making a real big deal of it.
Yeah.
So
it was like a big shakeup, but it also wasn't, because anything that was successful pre-New 52, they almost kept it as the status quo, but in a way that was like very confusing, because it's like they had this condensed timeline. So then they're like saying everything that's happened with Batman has happened in like less than 5 years, which is bananas. Like considering all the Robins and all that kind of stuff, like it was crazy.
How long did that go for? Did that go for like 3 years, something like that?
Oh, it went longer than that. I think they've retconned some of it away, where more of like that pre-New 52 continuity is back. But I haven't read enough of it to be like an authority on it. I'm sure there's people watching that are just like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you can fool me because I don't know anything. So. That's great. So I would assume then that Marvel Legends is probably your favorite line. I mean, I know when it comes to customizing, that's what you pretty much exclusively work with Legends and Star Wars Black, right?
Yeah. I can't. I would definitely say they're my favorite, just from. I think that's the first time that I've been with that line since before it was Marvel Legends. Like I was collecting the Spider-Man classics and stuff. So like I've been there since the beginning. I remember going to Jacksonville, North Carolina, and picking up the Wave 1 Iron Man because I couldn't find it anywhere in town, and I was like, they had it. I was just like losing my mind. Like, so yeah, I've been with it forever. I'll stay around until I cannot physically afford them anymore, which could be soon. I don't know.
It very well could be soon. Yeah. It's ridiculous that they're charging right now, man. It is just fucking bonkers.
It goes up and up and up. I feel like we've had 2 or 3 hikes this year.
Yeah, we're gonna jump. I wanted to kind of get your take on that. A few things. I wanted to get your take on the pinless tech. I wanted to get your take on the windowless boxes. I wanted to get your take on the as of recent attention to all these paint kerfuffles that they've been having. But I wanted to jump into this quickly before we did, because I just wanted to show your Instagram page so people can just kind of see here. There we go. So so for anybody who isn't following Rob on Instagram, this is his page. It's at Pymparticles, all one word. And you can see he does some customizing, but he also does these cool like recolors.
Yeah, do
so fucking cool.
A little Photoshop there. Having some fun.
And I like the Spider-Man too. It's very cool.
Like, so many people, I still think people want a Spider-Man in those exact colors.
That's so cool. Yeah, I would buy that in a second, but maybe if they put it on that new Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, because I quite like the update that we're getting there. This is cool too.
I haven't got him in hand yet, but I hear he's
getting delivered tomorrow. He's getting
nice.
delivered tomorrow. Yeah, for me. pretty excited. I was going to read through a couple of these comments before I lose it. Anonymous
sure.
dude says, I love that drawing is something you can develop. People do always think you have it or you don't.
Yeah, I've always said that is like it's a skill like anything else, but I feel like it's maybe more attainable than something. It's like you may be in a point in your life where you will not be like a professional skateboarder. I think you can always sit around and learn to do something smaller like that. Just kind of develop your skills with drawing. There, YouTube, anything like that. You can just work on it because anybody that's good, they put in work on it.
I remember when I was younger and I started to draw, I used to go to art classes and I fucking hated it. It was like I felt like I was like being put through the ringer. But I still loved to draw when I wasn't there. It was just like something that I kind of had to like do without, like, I think I probably took a lot of the things I learned from that, but it was just like the stuff I was having to draw and like paint were like not like it didn't interest me. So like I just
I know a lot of people get into that. I think I was very fortunate that I had a lot of teachers that were okay with me doing like weird pop culture shit because that's always what I've been into. Like I had a middle school teacher that she gave me an assignment where I had to do a color wheel. And I don't know why I decided to do this, but I did the color wheel painted across Beavis's face. And she was like fine with it. So yeah, I mean,
you did the assignment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's good to give people like room to explore. And then I think when you're working on something and you are doing even like, I mean, this is getting into something else, but like even when you do commissions and stuff, there has to be an element of it that you're doing for yourself.
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
You care about it and it's important to you. So I think like making people just do fucking bowls of fruit and all that stuff all the time is not maybe the best way to let people kind of work on those skills.
I get like having a certain technique and being able to identify it in those pieces, but at the same time, it's just like it's not overly compelling stuff. So interesting you talk about commissions because that's something that like I very much agree with. Like I have lots of people who will like reach out and say like, can you do this? Can you do this? And I'll just be like, oh, that's not really like my jam, like I don't really, that doesn't really appeal to me, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, well, let me know when there's room. And I'm like, nah, like, it's just like it's not something I'm gonna want to do, right? Like, in order for me to really like in order to get the best work out of me, you have to let me enjoy the process, and it needs to be something that like I want to keep going back to. It's like I think of that Mandarin, that animated series Mandarin I made for Brazilian Customs, and it was just like we decided at the beginning what needed to be present and what I could kind of play with, and then he kind of just let me do my thing. But like I had so much fun doing that figure that like I finished it in like 3 weeks because I had a fucking blast making it. I just wanted to keep working on it, right? So yeah.
For me, I feel like my best work comes when I'm done with the figure. If I don't want to give it to the person, I know that I've done good stuff. Yeah,
that happens a lot.
Which has happened with several pieces that you've ended up with.
Man, I still think my favorite figure. Let's go to it. It's going to be down a bit, but I mean, again, it's not that far down.
Not that far.
No, I still think to this day, my favorite figure I got from you was the very, very first one.
Yeah. I do still. Yeah.
Down here somewhere. Here we are.
It's not like often that I stand by something that I did like at this point that long ago, but like I feel really good about how that turned out.
Yeah, I fucking love her, man. She seriously is the best. Like she's just the best. I remember when the new one came out and I was just like, I'm only buying you because you're a new base body, but you are not going anywhere near my shelf. This thing is forever on here.
She's still on my list of things to do for myself because like I want that costume for her.
I love the costume in particular.
Yeah, it's bananas. It's the most the 90s just threw up all over.
Yeah, you did an amazing job, man. She's seriously,
thanks.
She's the best. She's still my favorite, but we can literally go through so many of these that are for me. Like I was saying to Rob before we got on here, like this is really cool too. This is not for me, but it's very cool.
Yeah, that's from my good friend Zach.
That is like the old toy from the Kenner. I remember that toy. My neighbor had it. That's so dope.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite figures growing up.
Great too. That's awesome. There's a good Catwoman too. Yeah, see, that's dope. That's another cool thing is you take awesome pictures of your work as well. I know you haven't gotten to as much lately because you've been away from your headquarters.
My equipment, most of my stuff, is across the country right now.
Yeah. You also did these super awesome Shadows of the Empire figures that I am madly obsessed with as well. You're getting lots of love here.
Oh, well, great.
Dude says, Shriek, she's gorgeous. Marcus E says, ooh, that white and blue skin tone. So good.
Yeah, that was some of the first like skin tone shading that I did. That's like, it's like not exactly how I do it now, but that was the first time where I was kind of experimenting with like doing some like gradations with the skin tone using the airbrush, and I was just like, I was so happy with how it turned out. I'm still doing it.
It looks amazing. Seriously. Thanks. And like it's on my list of things to also talk about, which I mean I could just talk about now, but like I remember when I got that figure, it was like I had been doing Secret Santa for a few years, and like the stuff I had been getting was just like it wasn't awesome, and like I was starting to kind of get burnt out on like, I think I had like 3 years or 3 swaps. Maybe they weren't all Secret Santas. Maybe there's a summer swap or 2 in there, but like three or 4 in a row where I got like not like awesome pieces, right? And just started to like kind of get more frustrated with it, right? And and then I got yours, and I was like, I remember I had to reach out because I was just like, how do you get these things looking so like I think the thing that really stand out about your customs in hand is like they look very polished, and it's funny because I know you use pledge floor care, so
they are literally polished.
Literally polished, but they do, man. They're insanely clean, and they're in hand. Like you don't have any issues with paint rub. It's just it's crisp. It's so crisp. It actually reminds me a lot, and he's here. Morning Wolf says, I went through 10 years of art school. I know your pain. When I got that Storm that I got from him, that Age of Apocalypse Storm, his work reminded me a lot of yours in hand. I was just like...
Shout out to Morning Wolf, because like
fucking best,
every time I see it, I'm just like, how are you doing this?
How are you doing
seriously. How are you doing this consistently, this
and
fast?
Quickly? Like, so fast. Doesn't he kind of remind you a little bit of me when I was like, when we first started talking, I was really pumping shit out real quick. Yeah. That reminds me of that, because that's when I had single focus, because he won't work on more than one project at a time. He does one thing, he completes it, and he moves on to the next one.
Yeah, and every time it's just like, I love when I look at somebody's work and I see like a part choice or something. I'm like, damn it, I wish I had thought of that. Because it happens with his stuff all the time. He's just great.
He's one of those guys that I love to like just toss his name around, because I'm just like, man, this guy he's only been doing it for a couple years, and like he's crazy,
which is also
already.
Disgusting. I know. How dare you?
I know, right? At least he's Canadian. That's good. This magma figure is a fucking beautiful piece too. Like, I don't know if it's coming through on the shared screen, but like that fucking detail in that paint is insanity. Let me see if there's a closer picture. See again, the cool photos, right? That's fucking so dope.
That's still probably my favorite photo that I've ever done of that stuff.
Man, so good. She looks so fucking crazy good.
Yeah, I was learning some new airbrush techniques there, and just I didn't know a ton about magma at the time. It was a commission for a fellow that gets a lot of stuff from me, and we have very similar tastes, so like very often he presents me with something and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because it's like characters that I like, and he gives me a lot of like freedom and how I can like kind of play with it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I really like how that turned out. It was tedious as hell, but like
worth the work.
It was kind of fun to put those little swirls on there. That was cool.
Definitely worth the work.
Yeah.
And for anybody who was curious, that's how it started.
Yes, I did my shading underneath it. I was still paying attention to all that.
That's so crazy, man. That's so crazy. And then what else do we have that's for me on here? So I've received a handful of pictures of figures from you. Oh man, I remember when you did this Echo too. This is a sick Echo too. Remember, what were you working on? Weren't you working on something before? This was for a Secret Santa. And I remember you were working on something before that fell through or didn't happen. You were working on a Foggy Nelson.
Yeah, I was working on Foggy Nelson. That person had a really Daredevil-centric list.
Yes, I remember that.
And I was working on a Foggy Nelson using some parts from like WWE figures and stuff. It's like, right. we didn't have all those good suited bodies that we got now,
We didn't. We didn't.
But I was working on that. It was just not coming together, and I said, let me try this. And I'm glad I did that. I do like how that turned out, and I actually ended up reading a lot about Echo, because I like to do that to get a feel for the character, accessories that make sense, that sort of thing. And I read a lot of her like first arc and stuff, and she's a really interesting character, and it was cool to see her in the Hawkeye show and be like as faithful as it was to the source material.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not familiar with Echo much, but I know who she is. I can point her out, in a lineup, but that's about it. So Anonymous Dude says, Magma, that detail on that body is meticulous. Goodness gracious. Made a legend into a Mafex. Morning Wolf says, hi, you guys are killing me. Thank you. That's great. Marcus Yee says, Catwoman's purple suit is probably my favorite.
Same.
That's a cool look for her, for sure.
Hard same. I mean, it's the first one I remember as a kid, so all that stuff has a special place with me.
Yeah, man. Let me see. We'll go through a couple more here. This one is another one that you did for me that is also fucking just the bomb, man. Little Wolfsbane action, and I like that you built her on a smaller...
where is the official one?
It's crazy because they're going to just keep us hanging on for a Wolfsbane and for Rachel Summers and for and Feral. Yeah, Feral's the last one we're missing from.
Oh yeah, Feral. Yeah.
And I guess Banshee for giant size X-Men or like 70s X-Men.
Oh yeah, they still have. God, they have not redone him in like
forever.
It's over 10 years now. I know. That's crazy.
I know, it is crazy. But yeah, there we go. She's awesome. She's still on my shelf. All of you figures I've gotten from you have stayed on my shelf. That's a cool one. I remember actually, as I was cleaning this weekend, where the fuck did I put it? Here it is. Look what I found when I was cleaning this weekend.
Yes.
So when I got this figure, Rob sent me this. He made one of those old school trading cards, and it's like thick, like it's it's good stuff. Like it's pretty fucking awesome. So dope, dude. Fuck, that's cool. You don't get shit like that anymore. What else we got? All right, we can go through this. If you're not following, please go and show them some love. This is another cool one too. Layla Chaney or Layla Chaney.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I was just playing Miles Morales, that game.
Yeah,
and her and Dazzler get a shout out in that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Miles apparently went to one of their concerts.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's great. I'd love to see them do something like that with Dazzler in the MCU. I feel like that's how she'll probably first get some love there. Yeah. And then you did this for Secret Santa last year, the year before?
I guess that was it. Was last year
you
the
didn't
one I didn't do? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one before that.
Yeah, it was the one before that.
It's cool though. That's sick. Mm-hmm. That went to Ethan, I think.
I think, yeah.
It's dope. That's a good recipe too.
Yeah, it turned out
this is
kind of better than I was expecting in the middle of it.
I love this this breakdown that you do on your slides too. It's very cool.
Yeah, it sometimes, you know, like I've got a lot of friends. I mean, I'm sure you run into this where you have friends that don't understand what the hell you're talking about. And I thought that was like a nice like visual to throw in there to be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. Like it takes this many parts to put one of these together, and I'm doing the sculpture and this kind of stuff.
It's cool that you do it though, because it helps. Like it, you know, gives people the full idea of what you basically started at. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're fun to put together.
That's great. This is another one that I fucking just love. This is your Chewbacca from Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. I can't remember. What's it called? Snuva disguise from Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, Snuva. Yeah. That was dope, that was what I was really happy about, because again, it was a figure as a kid that I had a lot of like love for, and I don't know why, because it's insane. It's so weird. It looks
Chewbacca
like Chewbacca in X-Force
with like an MC Hammer hair. That's what it reminds me of. Or was that his name? Yeah, MC Hammer hair. Yeah. That's so dope, dude. I fucking love it. And I know I zipped past it, but your Dash Rendar is so dope too. Here's another awesome one you did for me. White Queen, Emma. That's another one where I got the official and I was like, yeah, you're getting sold. This is way fucking better.
After that came out, I was like, okay, I'm not challenged by that.
It's awesome. It's so good, man. And your colors are so good, and the little wine chalice that you gave her is so good, and her smirk on her, it's just she's great. It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's a character I really love, so you know, I went ham on it.
I remember one of the hints you gave me, because you and I keep our swaps quiet from one another. We don't tell each other. Whereas some of the other people I do them with, I'm open with them, right? So, but you and I keep them quiet. And I remember one of the hints you gave me for yours was I got to the point where I was almost ready to keep it or something, or keep it in my collection because I loved it so much. And I was just like, okay. So I remember us having a conversation about Emma and how much you liked her. So this Morrow is fucking amazing too. That detail on all our bones and stuff like that is insanity.
That stuff was so fun to do. I love like anything where it's like organic like that. I love doing things.
That's your armor, because like for me, it's like give me someone with armor, and I'm like, yeah, I want that. I want to do that.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite when it comes to armor. That intimidates me. I'm like, oh, I got to get this symmetrical. You know, with stuff like bone or whatever. I'm just like, if it's off, no one's gonna notice.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fine. It's totally par for the course. It's a dope Shadow Cat too.
Yeah, I
like the face.
I'm very happy with how that blue turned out.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So beautiful. It's really nice.
Thank you very much.
So anybody, if you aren't following, please go show some love. This is another one he made for me and finally got onto my display. I finally put her into my miscellaneous X-Men Street Fighter shelf. That is the weirdest mix of figures ever, but that's okay.
It is, but I love it. You know, it works in the sense that it's just tell yourself it's all stuff that you loved when you were a kid.
That's right.
That's
right. So go show some love, guys, please. This is what I made you. I'm going to post this next week, I think, or the week after.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fun one. Actually, I fucking wanted to throw the damn fucking legs out the window like 15 times.
I am sure.
Oh, man, I resculpted those legs so many damn times. Oh,
yeah.
I was ready to fucking call it.
That was the first thing I thought when I looked at it. I was like, I can't believe he fucking did this. Because I know this was awful.
It was really annoying. There's some good comments in here. Marcus Yee says Bounty Hunter Chewie stays in my head rent free, and I like it.
As he should.
He also said he likes WIP picks like this. Yeah, me too. I like when you get that full breakdown. Then I don't have to ask. So, Morning Glow says definitely saved your versions of Penance for reference. She's coming up on my list of to dos, and I used your Wolfbane as reference for mine too. Oh, there you go. That's sweet.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I saw that he was doing Generation X, and I was like, please don't just for me, don't completely blow my pennants out of the water.
Oh man, he's making me want to get mine started way quicker. Like I've been slowly moving them up the list, and then when he did Chamber, I was like, oh fuck, man, now I really want to do Chamber's the one I want to do the most.
If it wasn't for those damn knee pads and like shin guards, I would absolutely want to do every one of them. But every time I look at
them look so easy though.
Oh,
look at how good all of them do. They all literally look like he's just casting them. Like
we've got to stop him. He's too good.
We have to stop him.
He can't keep getting away with this.
Marcus E said it's a crime that we don't have Morrow in Legends yet, and I love that head sculpt on Shadowcat. Yeah, the head sculpt is freaking beautiful on Shadowcat. The blues really pop, but the head sculpt really stands out. And this dude says, Pymparticles, please send one of your customs as a gift to Ryan, Dan, and Dwight from the Legends. They sure would love it. They probably would.
We can do a trade. They can send me some stuff. I'll send them something.
There you go. That's a good trade. That's a good trade.
They got some Sentinels kicking around?
Yeah, what do you guys got? What do you got? Anything? That's great. So, I guess we can kind of get into a couple of points of conversation. So the first thing I was going to talk to you about was any experience so far with working with those new Pinless figures, and it's something that I've been doing more recently of, and I don't really love working with them. They're pretty fucking annoying, if I'm being honest.
Well, to tell you the truth, I remember when they were introduced, people were freaking out. Like customizers were freaking out, and I was like, I've kind of been dealing with these for years because like female figures already had them in a lot of places.
Exactly.
So like I was kind of used to it. I don't know if this will show up, but this is like a Magneto I've been working on.
That is so awesome.
For the same guy that I did the Magma.
Dude, that's insanity good. Hang on a second. Let's do this. Hang on.
Yeah, he's he's
crazy good.
He's Black Tom up here, and down below Zemo he's Dormammu.
Dormammu, yeah.
Yeah. So so the legs and stuff were pinless. I would say if anything, because they're bigger, they're a little easier to work with than the female stuff.
For sure.
But they're not too bad. A couple of times I've run into, especially on the female pinless ones, where I just cannot get the joint to reconnect. And I did this, and I cannot remember who did it. Like I don't want to say I'm taking credit for this or anything, but I saw someone do a tutorial the other day where you run a pin all the way through.
I saw that too. It was Token.
That sounds right. Yeah,
I want to say it was Token.
Yeah, that's a great thing to keep in mind.
That's a great idea. I don't do that. I just leave it.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's fine. I've only had a few times where it wasn't.
Yeah, usually there's enough just like tension in the joint that it's like okay. But the reason, how you said that my stuff is like smooth and everything, I'm like a fucking perfectionist. So anything that's like off like that, I'll just they're going to see it, and that's all that they see, and they're just going to hate this, and so I'm doing everything to avoid that.
I always say that we're our own worst critics.
Definitely.
Oops, I'm trying to center myself here. That's it's like me. Like I've had so many customs where I finish and like all I can see are the two tiny little imperfections that literally are driving me fucking mad.
Yep.
It's annoying. It's really annoying.
Every time
it sucks because you don't really get to appreciate your work as much either, right? If you're just overly critical of your own work, which I am that. So yeah, that's sick though, man. That's I my biggest issue with the pinless stuff is like I feel like the clearance between the knee and elbow joints and it almost feels like the knee and elbow joints are like higher than the other plastic, so you have to like really shave off a lot to get it to stop with the paint rub. In my experience anyways, I've utilized that Dormammu body and I've also worked on a couple other pieces too. But yeah. Oh, are you still there?
Are we cutting out?
Oh, I can't tell if it's you or me cutting out. There we go. We good? Good? No? Good? No?
Hopefully we're having internet difficulties.
I don't know
still
if
here?
I am.
Do I need to back out?
I'm here. I'm here. You're good?
Yeah, I can't really tell. Okay. I'm hearing you now. Okay.
Okay, great. Good.
Sorry about that.
That's great. No, that's all good. Good. Yeah, so like for me, I'm the same way, and it's like even with the the pins, like I've been cutting out shoulders joints forever, like as long as long as I can remember. So it's not like it's really that different, right? It's just more of a pain in the ass. Like I always say, like the thing that sucks about them is like in order to customize them, really taking them apart at the knees and the elbows, like you have to permanently damage the figure, like which is unfortunate, but.
I will say one thing that is an advantage, and I don't know if this is just hyper specific to me, but when I'm customizing, I tend to lose the pins. I usually have enough extra that it's not a problem from other fodder stuff. But yeah, there's lots of times where I've lost the pins. So this has like eliminated that, which is nice.
Very nice. It also like I've always been one to like fill peg holes, so like that part's kind of nice to save me the work. It's just a step, but it's always like my first sculpt session is fill the peg holes. That's how I start every single custom, and it's like so boring. Right,
I've never had the confidence in me not fucking something up majorly enough to like fill the
to take away the option to dismantle if needed.
Yeah, I need an escape plan.
That's really funny. I've had to dismantle after I filled. It can be a sloppy mess, but it is what it is. So so have you bought anything from the new kind of like blind box style, like the windowless packaging?
I have not got a windowless thing yet. The newest stuff I have, I think, is the Bone Breaker Wave.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they still have the windows.
Yep, they still have them. Yeah. I got in some of this new Spider-Man anniversary stuff. I got Iron Spider. I got Ned and Peter. I got Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. Fuck, man, he's sick. He's so dope. Yeah. And I'm expecting Renew Your Vows set tomorrow. Or tomorrow or the next day. So.
Yeah, I've got that Iron Spider. Like I pre-ordered him from Target because Target will sometimes do a sale at the same time that like certain pre-orders hit, so you can get them for a little cheaper. So I pre-ordered him and Speedball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we'll see whenever those get here. Because for some reason, it seems like the U.S. is getting everything last now.
I know. I'm super fortunate where I'm at. We get shit so quick. Like, it's like I remember getting the Bone Breaker Wave like way before anybody else did. Like it's like such old news to me now. I've had it for so long. Like
that's crazy.
I know. And it was the crazier thing is like I walked into a Toys R Us and found it. I was like, between two Toys R Us's on my way home, I found the whole fucking wave. I found everyone but Siren and Wolverine the first stop, and then when I stopped at the second one, I found both of them, and I was like, there you go, we're good.
You Canadians, you got that private healthcare or the public healthcare. You've got Toys R Us. Maple syrup. You got it all.
But you know what though? Toys R Us is kind of shooting themselves in the foot right now because they're pricing themselves out of the market. Like they're Marvel Legends here. So everywhere else, Marvel Legends are $38.99, I think, Canadian. Mm-hmm. But Toys R Us, they're $42.99.
Damn.
And Star Wars Black are also $42.99, and then the Toys R Us exclusives are $49.99, I think it is.
Don't get me started on those exclusive prices.
It's insane. It's so insane.
Yeah.
Like, especially like Star Wars in particular. Like, I've been on the way out of Star Wars Black for quite some time now. I don't see the value in them anymore. Like at that price, I don't see the value. I don't. Yeah. I've become super selective about what I buy Star Wars Black Series, and it's just.
I mean, there are. I can't remember the last time that there was a Star Wars figure out that I was like so jazzed to get it that I bought it in the store for full price. Because it's just.
I think Ahsoka for me is probably the best Star Wars Black we've gotten in a while, like from Mando.
Yeah. But you probably still you don't like those knees, do you?
I hate the single jointed knees, but they kind of work on Ahsoka because her pants are baggy and it kind of works. But like it's they're just so static. Like you can only do so much with a single joint. I'm not saying that it's not impressive that they do get good range, but the problem is when there's only one point, they always kind of look like robots. Like it's just except they have hand job hands because that's the only thing they come with. Like they don't have any other options. You know what I mean? And it's just like and that too, right? It's like I look at my Star Wars shelf and everyone's giving out handies because it's just like nobody has any other hand options except Niz. And it's like it's fucking irritating. Like at $43 Canadian, I'm getting nothing. And I'm paying a deluxe figures. I'm paying for paint apps now. Fuck that noise, man.
We should have seen that coming. I don't remember when it was. It was a few years ago, but they put out a survey and they were asking about would you pay increased prices for better paint apps, more accessories and stuff? Yeah. But like now it's just become like it's the Boba Fett tax.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people have said that, but it's just like Cobb Vanth and the two versions of Boba that are just
even Saw Gerrera
ass figures are now deluxe and
Saw Gerrera is just a regular fucking dude with a staff and a gun and a busted up leg.
Yeah.
He's a little bit bigger, but he's not like fucking huge or anything. Like,
and it's weird. It's so strange because it seemed like, I don't know if they were against it or they just weren't at that point in the line, but you remember like they did very little part use.
Yes, I know that. Earlier in the line,
part
right?
Reuse, I mean, sorry.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Marcus Yee says hand job hands makes a comeback. Freudian slip. I've referenced hand job hands before. Quebec Diorama says $42. I hate this. Yeah, man. Tell me about it. It's crazy. I remember. I remember when Star Wars Black first came out, I associated it with new sculpts. Yeah. Because I was like, even when there's obvious reuse, they don't reuse. Like
I remember they did like at least some new parts for like Stormtrooper Luke and stuff, so he was like actually shorter.
He's shorter, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the kind of shit where I'm just like, and don't get me wrong, like with a Stormtrooper Luke, I'm fine with reuse. It makes sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes sense. But I appreciate the extra parts. I think he got a new head and a new torso, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
So that's like that's great. But like now it's just like it's not even the blatant like I can handle reuse. Honestly, if the parts are good, I don't care. Like
we're Legends people. We're used to part reuse. It's fine.
Totally. Yeah, totally. I appreciate a new sculpt, but it's definitely not necessary every time. Like not necessary.
Yeah.
But now when it comes to Star Wars Blacks, I'm always like, I hope they reuse those legs because they at least have double joints. So I can at least get behind that. But like, fuck me, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anonymous Dude 123 says, Pymparticles, tell us about your customizing journey. What pulled you into customizing?
I don't know how many people watching are old enough to even remember this, but it was fully Toy Fair magazine.
Oh,
it was for anybody that doesn't know, it was a sister publication to Wizard, which was the magazine for comics.
It was so good, man. It was so funny.
Yeah,
all the little theaters they did and stuff were fucking great.
And they did a lot of coverage on like customs and like how to build your own. Like the first custom I remember ever seeing, it was a Shadows of the Empire Lando. And all they did was they took the, Coruscant Luke or whatever and just switched a Lando head onto it. But like for me at that age, I was just like, you can do that? That's allowed? and like I've never looked back.
Yeah, man. I remember Toy Fair like it was yesterday, dude. Honestly, I actually probably still have majority of the issues somewhere in a box at my mom's house. Probably, it's one of those ones that I never got rid of because I always laughed at, and it was just cool to like. It's cool to see how we used to get our toy news. That's how we used to get our toy news. Was not from the internet. It was from a monthly magazine. Like, well, it wasn't monthly. It was bi-monthly, like every other month, right? Or was it monthly at one point?
Maybe I think it was monthly at first, and then it went bi-monthly as print media was dying.
Well, have you heard of the new magazine that's starting to ship? Like I think in the next week or so, Toy Collector.
Yeah, I have. I need to like track that.
I'll let
down.
you know. I subscribe. I bought a subscription for a year. I'll let you know.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks good. It got some praise from a couple of the people who are like collaborating with them. Some of the guys on the Toy Migos, and after they said it, I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna go and check that out." So yeah, I subscribed. I was like, "Yeah, whatever." I think it was like $80 Canadian for a year. It's like it's a little bit much, but we'll see how it goes. I'll like show them some support.
I'm sure the upfront cost for doing any kind of like physical publication,
especially now,
are much more expensive than they were back in the day. And you're also talking about like shipping, the economy of scale and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, man, it's nuts. So yeah, so you got into it from Toy Fair magazine. That's really your first encounter with it.
Yeah. And my mom was like a big crafter. So we had like, she would do little things that she saw like on TV, like on HGTV. So we had like paints and we had Sculpey and stuff in the house already.
Cool.
So like I didn't have to go out and buy all that stuff as a kid. Yeah. So I got into it.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, Toy Fair was cool. It's kind of like the first semblance of a toy community. Like, it's like I've always been a toy collector. There's really in my whole life, there's probably only been about 6 years when I was doing the band thing that I wasn't a toy collector. And then I've always collected something, wrestling figures or Marvel stuff or Power Rangers or Star Wars or something, He-Man or Ninja Turtles or fucking never ends, man. Never ends.
It's the hunt.
I know it is. So going back to value in the figures, like it's the same with like these Spider-Man figures, and we're seeing all these issues with the paint apps and missing paint apps and misaligned paint apps and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like there's getting a lot of shade like on the windowless boxes, and like people are kind of blaming it on the windowless boxes, which I think is hilarious because like how does that really make sense? But yeah, like one of the things I think with that is like I feel like now because people can't sort through like paint apps in store, like that's why we're hearing about it so much more, is people are not getting to pick their figures, they're not getting to the end, like so, and then obviously when they open it and they could have avoided it when they could have seen it, they obviously then blast it, right? Because
and I think that like I'm not saying that it's not I mean, ideally, if you're paying, especially as the cost is going up, if you're buying these figures, they should be like the paint should be there, like the paint that you're supposed to get, you should get. But like inconsistent paint apps on Marvel Legends are not new.
No.
And if anything, back in the Toy Biz day, although people remember this with rose-colored glasses, they were probably worse. Like you had a hard time, like if anytime someone was like picking one up, like they saw one in the store and were telling me about it, I was like, send me a picture. Like
you have to look at it before you commit to it.
Yeah, because it's the washes and stuff were great, but you can apply a wash poorly. especially on a face, you know. So yeah, I think it's definitely and like not being able to have that option to see it, pass it up, and keep going is probably what is adding to this stuff. Because like if you bought a Spider-Man in the last 10 years, you probably have at least one where the webs were not completely done. Yeah. And I mean, you know, that's a real intricate paint job. Like I get it.
Yes, it is. I also get it.
Yeah, it's this is, I think the toy community sometimes they get on something and they pile on.
Yes, they do.
And I think this is a little bit of that piling onto an issue that is still legitimate. Like I do
agree. It is a problem. It absolutely is a problem for sure. Yeah. And I think especially at that price point, like if you're going to charge that price point, and you're going to take the windows away, then maybe you need to invest a little bit more into QC to make sure that that kind of stuff's not hitting the mass audience, right? Because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to lock down. You know, it's not a big deal when you're, you know, I can't remember what, like Cottonmouth figure has shitty paint apps because you could just go and pick them up on clearance later. But like, try to find a Renew Your Vows Spider-Man set in like 2 months. Like that's just gonna fucking be gone, man. You're not gonna be able to get that without paying an aftermarket price. Like it's not gonna happen. So that's where it gets frustrating for me, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But, yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Hasbro because I feel like it's unwarranted. Like I still think Hasbro puts out like the best product, but I also think that like they need to pick up their socks a bit because, you know, at the price we're paying, we're not too far off import pricing. And with an import, you know, I just got the new Jean Grey figure, that Mafex one. Which comes with like 10 hands, 3 heads, and you know, I'm like power effects. I'm just like, this was like double the price of a Marvel Legend, but I'm getting like everything I could need in a Jean Grey, plus all the articulation and the premium paint job. And
I mean, it like there was a long time that when people were like, I don't understand why y'all are buying Marvel Legends. The, you know, Mafex and these figure arts and everything were so much better quality and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, yeah, but the price is like a third or less of it. It's creeping up there.
It is. Man, it's getting close, especially with figure arts. Like Black Series and Star Wars figure arts, like, that distance is getting noticeably less and less big. Like it's dissipating, man. They got to pick that shit up real quick.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that like, you know, with Marvel Legends, figure arts kind of, Marvel Legends and also Black Series, like figure arts with that face printing stuff, I think it kind of like forced their hand a little bit to step it up.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering if there's something out there that is going to help regulate these prices a little bit. Like if there will be some sort of, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it is troubling.
I do honestly think between the increase in price turning people off, the poor, again, I don't want to say the sudden increase in poor quality. I'm going to call it the sudden increase in acknowledging poor quality.
Yeah, and I think that's much more accurate.
Yeah, and like the fact that you know, everyone's having to be more picky and choosy is like it's gonna hurt them. Like and the windowless boxes, like for me, the windowless box, like my experience opening a figure is definitely not as enjoyable. Not getting to look in and see what I'm going to be getting home to and ripping into.
Yeah.
You know, but like to have like the what was I going to say about that? I lost it. It'll come back to me in a minute. I was gonna go somewhere good with that maybe, but I'm gonna look at a couple of these comments, I guess, since I just lost that. Marcus C says, shit, now I'm worried about that Amazing Spider-Man and Friends set. Man, I gotta tell you, that Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man is so fucking awesome. And I'm pretty sure that they reused it for animated Spider-Man on the retro card and that Amazing Friends Spider-Man set.
I mean, I'll have no idea about that animated Spider-Man because it was a Walmart exclusive, which means I'll never see it.
Usually that is the case, but in Canada, for some reason, they're getting better. I got my classic lizard a couple weeks ago, and Spider-Man's still in my orders. So
to be fair, I had no problem getting that classic lizard that day.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah. Credit where credit is due. They had enough of those, but I guess you could never have enough Spider-Man.
I know. That's the thing, is Spider-Man always sells.
Yeah.
That's why they're smart with this whole this anniversary series like this, because they always do like the premium figures over the summer, right? I guess it's a little later this year, but smart to do Spider-Man because it's like a guarantee that it'll sell.
Oh yeah.
So Anonymous Dude 123 says, question for Pim. I asked Matthew this before. When you see a new custom, what do you appreciate? What makes a great custom to you?
I would say like being unique. Like I mentioned before about Morning Wolf, like when I like to look at a piece and go, damn, I wish I'd thought of that. Like I love that feeling of seeing, because that's ultimately what all this is about, right? It's like seeing these parts that are just kind of out there, turning them into something new. So I think it's really cool to see someone use something in a way that I would have never thought about, and come up with something that's really cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, I'm also, I love people that are not afraid of color. I think some
the brighter,
folks,
the better.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, we're dealing with fucking comic characters. Like, don't be afraid to use neon, use metallic. Like we've got all these crayons in the crayon box. Like use them. Go nuts.
Man, I gotta say that Magneto that you showed earlier is just popping because of that the metallic purple. It's like it looks crazy good.
That outfit to me, and that's the kind of thing I think about, like texture and like what stuff is made of. Like to me, he always looks like in that era, he looks like he's walking around in a pair of silk pajamas. And I asked the guy that was commissioning it, I was like, "Are you okay with me doing that?" And he was like, "Yeah, go for it."
you should give him a little like Dickensian little nightcap to go.
And the candle.
A lantern.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Collector Express says Hasbro really does need to up the quality control of windowless boxes and higher price points. Yeah. And actually just seeing that reminded me where I was going with it with the windowless, is like, aside from the prices going up and people buying less because of that, but I think they're also gonna probably lose a pretty substantial amount of inbox collectors as well, because or the people who buy one to rock and one to stock, right? Someone who opens one and keeps one box. Like, what would be the purpose of that at this point? Like,
and one thing that they could do that I think would be a big help in getting kind of public opinion back on their side is if you, and this is a thing that I know NECA is pretty good about because I've done it before, but if you have a problem with a figure and you return it, it would be nice to have the guarantee that you're getting that same figure. And I understand if they had to limit it to a certain amount of time or something, like, oh, we don't produce this anymore. Yes. But like, that is something that people seem to be really frustrated about, is that they are, the Spider-Man had no paint apps and you sent me Siren.
That's what happened to me.
It's not a fair trade.
I bought that X-Force 3-pack with Domino and Richter and Cannonball, and my Cannonball's legs had 2 right feet. I was fucking so pissed off because I pretty much bought it.
Legs being wrong after all that time.
I literally bought the pack. I mean, I wanted Richter too, but like Cannonball's legs were a pretty big component of why I wanted that pack. And the same thing, they sent me a white Doctor Doom, and I'm like, fucking thanks. Like, fuck. But like, and then like even like the Toad I just bought. Like I bought that new Toad figure. Fucking has 2 right arms, and they won't do anything for me. It's like, cool. Thanks for fucking helping. Like,
and that
thanks
sucks.
for the like
$50
figure that's not even right. It's like, fucking piss off.
So at least I think just doing that level of like customer service kind of damage control stuff, I think would go a long way.
Yeah, I will say though, like I've dealt with NECA's customer service, and while I can't deny they do always come through, man, it is fucking just, it is such a hassle. Like I remember to get
it's
my
like
replacement
you have to DM and stuff. It's a little weird.
Oh, you literally, like I followed up 6 times in a 3-month period, and I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous. But I eventually got the figure, and they let me keep the broken one, which is good. So
yeah,
it's just yeah. Marcus E says, yes, they've done that to me twice. I had a faulty pumpkin wrapper and an in space blue and silver 2-pack. And they sent me a Morpher and an SPD blue 2-pack. Boo.
Those are both technically action figures.
Anonymous dude wants you to elaborate. Why do the colors pop so nicely on the eyes? Why do you think they're excelling in that area?
Oh, I don't mean necessarily like the way that I apply color or anything. That wasn't about me. I just think
that's something that draws your attention to a custom is when the colors
like
really pop.
I know a lot of folks go like grim and gritty and like a lot of black,
lots of dark washes,
a lot of which there's nothing wrong with. Like that is if that's what makes you happy
for certain things. I think that application works.
Yeah. But like you're dealing, I mean, you know, with legends and stuff, I'm usually dealing with these characters, especially because I tend to customize like ladies. That like I'm not, you know, I want to get these big, bright, vibrant colors. I'm also like, I mean, obviously I'm like a 90s person, so like I fuck the fluorescents, like I just, you know, all of that stuff. I want color. I think the painting part of it is my favorite part. So like I said, I want to use all the crayons in the box.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. I like, I'm drawn to bright colors too. And, like you said, like there's a lot of people who like don't want to paint yellows, don't want to paint whites, but it's like, the thing is like, yes, those colors are extremely difficult to pull off smoothly, but when you do, and they're pulled off well, they are magnificent. Like again, your Emma Frost that you did for me, or Shriek Skin, those whites are applied so smooth and so pristinely, right? And it just like they fucking pop like crazy. Like it's a hard one to make right, but it's also like it's a hard one to do well, but it's the work is worth it because like it ultimately ends up paying off. Like again, like the yellow on Wolfsbane 2, man, pops like crazy.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you know, all artwork is, you know, about contrast, light and dark, you know, values, color, shading, all that kind of stuff. So I just, you know, as much of that stuff as I can pump into this little figure, you know, I'm putting it in there.
Collector Express says paints when the figure comes to life.
Yep.
Yeah, man. That's so true. You know, it's always funny because usually when I finish my sculpting on something, I will throw a coat of primer on it before I dismantle it, just to like see what I'm dealing with. Because it's just like when you see it all in one color, like one flat color, you're just like, you see things that you didn't see before. You see, you know, little breaks in your sculpt. You see anything that's uneven. Like, unfortunately, usually when I do that, it requires me to then do work as well.
Oh, of course.
But, but you know,
I used to think priming was so unnecessary, which that's incorrect. But even for nothing else, that step of pointing out all, like, you know, doing it in a gray or a white, seeing all those flaws kind of jump out at you, you go, oh shit, that stuff is there. You take care of it then, no one else is ever going to see it. Yeah, exactly. It's a real important part.
I have been having fun with these little easy customs that I've been doing though, where like I'm kind of just using base bodies, kind of like similar to how like Morning Wolf and New Collector do, right? Where they kind of just utilize what's already available and like just add to it, right? Which again, I think that is an art in its own, really.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like I've been trying to do more of those because like just like, you know, eliminates some of your paint joint rub and like, you know, or like the prep for it, right? I'm trying to like trim off time just to get a couple more kind of customs in, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it's so hard to like not want to just like spray the whole thing gray and be like, all right, let's go. But it's like, no, your base body is already fully black for this Havoc. We're just using that, like, you know, like we don't need to go crazy here. Just add a little shading and we're fucking good. So, Marcus Yee says, out of curiosity, what do you recommend for primers? I might need some for this 112 rifle I'm doing. What do you use for primer?
It's I believe it's Badger that makes it. It's like it's called, what is Stylins or something?
It's the three. It's the three, right? The 3-pack, the gray,
the
black,
the black,
white.
the white, and the gray. And
I think I may have got that from you, maybe.
Yeah,
because I remember asking you.
Yeah, I love that black and white so much. Those are the black and white that I used to use on stuff. Like the white on Emma. Yeah, the white on Emma, the white on Shriek Skin. I think the white on Shriek Skin was the first time I used that stuff, and I was like, this is just good white paint. So I just kept using it that way.
Oh, nice.
And that stuff,
I use the gray more than anything else, but yeah, it is very tough. It's super durable.
Yeah. You can damn near take a fingernail to it, and it won't come off.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, I don't know about you. I buy it on Amazon in Canada, so
that's where I get mine.
$22 maybe for the 3-pack.
Yeah, somewhere in that same range over here.
Yeah. It's pretty good though. I recommend it. It's called Badger. If you just search Badger Primer on Instagram, maybe on Instagram, but on Amazon you'll find what you're looking for. So, Anonymous Dude says, thanks for letting me pick your brains. Creative people are so fascinating. And Collector Express says, my go-to primer now is Mr. Hobby. I don't think I've used that before. I still use it for some stuff. I can't reach it. It's going to be a mess. It's called the Army Painter. It's a rattle can. It's a spray can. I still use it for yellow.
Yeah, you're the only person I think I've ever seen use that stuff, and I want to try it because you get good results out of it.
I get great results, especially with my yellows. My yellows can pop because of that shit, though, man. Honestly, it does half the work.
Yeah,
you know, you just get it into that yellow primer, and then like anything you put on it, it's like shining. It's crazy. I've had a few things where we've had to learn the hard way though, because I'll like do it on all the spots that are like separate pieces. So like the hands, but then like say on an X-Men figure, I think like his Havoc, you know, I like painted his forearms blue, and then like I went back and just like hand did the yellow band around it with like a brush without priming it first. And it's like within a month you can see like a huge difference between like the hand and the glove cuff. And I'm like, nah, fuck off. So now it's like whenever I do yellows, I'll mask even like the smallest little details. I'm like, fuck, here we go. Yeah. But it gets me the best results, so it's worth it. So okay, so we're gonna take one more question because we're gonna cut it a little bit shorter tonight, guys. Just because Rob's got a couple other engagements he needs to handle. So, but we'll take this one more question and then we'll wrap everything up. Anonymous Dude says, Matchu and Pim, what is inspiring your imagination this week? Your creativity, or just giving you good vibes in art, geek culture, or in general, if you like? Good one. Good question.
That is a good question. I need to think more about the positive stuff that's going on in general.
There's a lot of not positive stuff going, especially where you live. Like for me, one of the big things that's like really sparked my imagination this week is like I've been doing a lot of like cleaning and stuff before I get back into customs, which I know seems weird thing to spark your imagination,
not to me at all.
But yeah, like I basically just this room that I'm in, it has my collection obviously, and then like the desk I'm sitting at right now was my wife's workspace, and then next to it is my workspace. But my wife's having this vision issue, and like being super close to a screen just it causing her a lot of headaches and stuff. So she's basically moved out of this office about 6 or 8 months ago. She still works from home mostly, and she moved out to where I was working in the main room. So she gave me this. So now I have this whole office that like she doesn't really ever come into. And I've been wanting to like, redo all the drawers because now I have both desks. So like, I spread everything out, and like I went through all my fodder. I put it all into like big bags, and I separated it by like Marvel Legends new, like non-Marvel Legends stuff, like male, female, all the shit, right? It's all done out. And like in doing all that stuff, man, I got so many ideas for customs because I was playing with all this fodder, and I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't know I I forgot I had this because like it's not an exaggeration, people. Like I have a 5-drawer like toolbox, like an industrial toolbox that is just full of Marvel Legends body parts. Like it's pretty fucked up.
I have about 4 of those very large, like
Rubbermaid totes.
Rubbermaid totes of it, because I mean, I've got stuff. There is stuff in there that is stuff that I had as a kid that I held on to, and I was just like, I can use this for something.
One day.
Yeah. Which
there
makes
was
it a
lots of that
little
stuff
bit
where
true.
I'm like, I've had this for 15 years. One day I'm going to use it though. One day. That's funny. So yeah, for me, inspiring me this week is like, I'm doing all this stuff. I got a bunch of really cool ideas for customs, and it's actually gonna I'm gonna kind of focus next week's episode of WIP Wednesday Live about that. I'm gonna actually move my camera over to my fodder drawers, and we're going to build a couple upcoming projects. I'm gonna start piecing stuff together, and I think it should be a fun little exercise because it's something that I love to do. It's probably my favorite part of customizing is just putting pieces from different figures together and seeing how they all work together and if they work together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that next week. So that'll be next week. So, but yeah, what about you? Anything of recent that's really striking the match of your imagination?
I mean, I've definitely I haven't had as much time to kind of get into it as I want to, but I've got, I believe, all my fodder together for my Secret Santa. So I've been thinking a lot about that. And there's definitely been some times in here where I'm just taking the figures and like playing with them and like, okay, how are these proportions sitting? Like, will this work? So I've been doing that stuff. I just, all of my stuff is like 2,000 miles away, the majority of it.
That makes it hard.
Like I've got a move coming up, hopefully in the next month or two to get all my stuff out here. And then I think I'll have more creative juices for them, because right now, like I'm living, like I have stuff in this apartment, but in a way it feels a little like a hotel room. It's like, I don't have all my stuff here.
It's not home yet, right?
No,
well,
not
because
yet.
you relocated there kind of temporarily initially, right? So now it's becoming more permanent, is it? Like, is that what's kind of happening?
I'm moving to a permanent position here. It was originally just for the summer, but I've really, enjoyed the people that I've been working with in the town and everything. So
nice.
Yeah, they had me stay on.
That's great. I'm glad you're gonna get yourself situated. So
very happy about it.
I'm excited to see what you cook up for Secret Santa. You've been missed the last couple. Was it just last year that you missed, or was it the year before too? I think it was just last year, right? Oh, are you still there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am glitching out.
That's okay.
Hello?
Okay. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can. I can hear you now. Okay. You seem to be back.
Cool. Yes, that's okay. If I usually just wait, because usually it works itself out. So, but yeah, it's good. It's good to have you back for Secret Santa, man. It's nice to have you back in with us. So
it just didn't. It felt so wrong to not be working on that stuff during that time of the year.
Yeah, man, you've been doing it just as long as I have, if not longer, right? I know you've been customizing longer than I have. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think my first Secret Santa was the one that you got. Maybe.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Can't remember.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's been. I mean, I guess I'm very old. The memory doesn't work the way it used to. Anonymous dude says this Secret Santa has some talent in it for sure. Yeah, man, this year's Secret Santa is looking very promising. So I'm excited to see some of the stuff that comes out of it. You still there with me, Rob, or what? You good? Nope. Kinda.
I'm just it's
a little laggy.
Just waiting for it to work out.
All right, we're kind of having some technical difficulties. We wrap up here, guys. I'll read a couple more here, and just hopefully Rob will catch up here. Collector Express says we became the kid from Toy Story ripping figures apart. We became Sid. So true. Uh-oh. Hopefully, he'll come back to us in 1 second here. So I'll quickly start wrapping this up, and then hopefully he'll jump back in enough to say goodbye. Oh, are you there? You're moving again.
Good? Yeah, I'm able to hear you now. Yeah, you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Sorry about that.
That's all good, man. That's all good. So thank you very much for taking some time out tonight to chat with me and with everybody in the group. And I've said this to a couple people. It's like we get to, we chat on Instagram somewhat regularly, but not really like this. So it's kind of cool to get to do this and have, a more immediate interaction than just sending a message and waiting for a reply.
This was a blast. I mean, if you ever want me back, just let me know.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna do a super show one day where I get a few of you guys, and I'll have you and Morning Wolf and probably Strand if he's around. Come on, and it'd be fun to have everybody kind of jump in and have some fun with that. So that would be a good time. But yeah, man, if you want to maybe quickly just plug your Instagram and everything one more time, and just tell everyone who you are before we go.
I am at Pymparticles. Check me out. I'll probably have some new work up. I don't know, 2025. It feels like.
Don't be silly. You'll post your Secret Santa thing when you get it. It's like the last like 10 customs, or like 5 of them are. I know. Are your swap figures?
I'm so bad about taking pictures of my stuff. Like, I work faster than anybody sees because I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to those pictures. I will just like have stuff sitting around trying to get those pictures. It's a problem. I need to get less precious about it.
It's where I let the ball drop. I'm just like, I don't love taking pictures. It's probably one of the least favorite parts of the process. So I'm just like, I just need to get the pictures. Like, I basically I get enough good ones where I have like 20 to 25 like pictures that I'm like, good enough. That's pretty much, that's my level of picture taking. So, and I just hope that like the fancy backdrop and stuff like draws attention to that versus like my posing and shit. So, that's the way I roll, baby. Well, man, thank you again very much for coming on. If you guys haven't, please go and follow Rob over at Pymparticles on Instagram. And yeah, man, thanks again. Next week, we're going to be kit bashing. So join me next week for WIP Wednesday Live. And we're going to have I got a few ideas. So I got a funny idea for the thumbnail. Man, did you see that picture I posted before I go? I'll plug another live stream. The Enablers, which is like toying around in 796 Studios and Prime to the First and High School Creations and Yoko. They're doing this like photo challenge this month, where it's like all album covers done with action figures, and it can be just like a direct copy off of it, or it can be like something kind of funny, like, there's no real rules, right? As long as it's but man, there is some fucking bangers out there. There's so many good ones, and I've now gotten to the point where it's like I kind of want to take a picture for it because I have a few ideas, and like
I need to check that out. I have been last month I did like nothing but 12-hour days. There was like 3 weeks that I
last thing you want to do is be on a computer after you've been on a computer all day.
100%. So yeah, I like there's a lot of, I feel like there's like a gap in what I've been
staying up with social media.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you again, and I guess we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Bye, everybody. Peace out. Thank you for joining me, Marcus, Anonymous Dude, Collector Express, everybody. Thank you guys, Quebec Diorama. Appreciate you guys every week. You guys are fucking the best, man. Okay, peace out.